And the nostrils are one of the darker parts of his face. Again, pretty glad I've got myself a good base. And some people like to paint more areas at once, like do the darks over the whole face. That's certainly a viable way to do it. Because I've got all my values in the right place anyway, I feel quite comfortable just doing a little area at a time and finishing it. Or mostly finishing it anyway. And same as I did before, I'm going to state the areas and then come back in with the dark to reinforce certain things. So I finished the face on this portrait. I continued just placing areas of value and softly blending them as I went. And then some areas I took this really soft brush. It's very soft. And I just went in and did a little bit of feathering here and there just to soften edges even further. Just in a few areas. I still was careful to leave certain areas like touches of white here on the nose and on the eyelid that we did before, just to make sure it still looks like a painting. So now I will switch to working on her sweater and her hair as I continue with this painting. Let me just move the camera first. So as I did yesterday, just to make the paint flow a little bit smoother, I'll just rub a very thin layer of linseed oil. And I'll wipe it off a bit too. This is just to give it a little bit of a soft edge to work into. You can see that it's really not taking off much of anything. And again, working dark to light. I've still got my brushes from yesterday and my paint. I'll end up mixing up some new paint, but I'll just start working a little bit with my darkest darks. Her sweater has a few dark areas, most of which I did yesterday, but I want to emphasize this area in here a bit just because I want to make sure that it looks like a fold in her sweater. Otherwise it might be a little bit hard to read what this is. And along here is one of the darker edges. And of course there's going to be dark in her hair, but I'll work on the sweater mostly first. Not too much that's real black. Moving into my darkest gray. The sweater in the photo has a little bit of texture. It's such a detailed photo that there's knit in the sweater that shows. I want this a little bit darker in here. So I'm just going to read that as a bit of an uneven texture rather than painting little stitches or anything like that. Just an opportunity to be a little bit looser with it. She's wearing a really light shirt here underneath her sweater. I'm going to make it a little bit darker because I don't want it to take away from his little shirt. I still want that to be the focus. So even though in the photo it's pretty light, I'm not painting it quite that light. Just getting in all my basic values first. I like to work the edges of one